Hello, readers of Every Word, and welcome to EveryWord365. I'm your host, Christina Munoz-Madsen. Today we are reading 1 Corinthians 1 through 6. Welcome to 1 Corinthians. Here's some information about this book from Got Questions. The author is, according to 1 Corinthians 1:1, it identifies the author of the book as the Apostle Paul. Date of writing. The book of 1 Corinthians was written in approximately AD 55. As for the purpose of the writing, the Apostle Paul founded the church in Corinth. A few years after leaving the church, the Apostle Paul heard some disturbing reports about the Corinthian church. They were full of pride and were excusing sexual immorality. Spiritual gifts were being used improperly, and there was rampant misunderstanding of key Christian doctrines. The Apostle Paul wrote his first letter to the Corinthians in an attempt to restore the Corinthian church to its foundation, Jesus Christ. And again, that is from gotquestions.org. There are three kinds of people in the business world: those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who asked, "What happened?" There are three kinds of people in the spiritual world: those who are spiritually dead, those who are spiritually immature, and those who are spiritually discerning. Which kind are you? That is from today's Daily Walk, which I, of course, have starred, because I think it's a great idea to really evaluate where you are in hopes of getting closer and closer to that spiritually discerning area. And reading through the Bible is a great way to do that. So once again, good job. Pat yourself on the back. Some of my favorite personal verses in today's reading include 1 Corinthians 1:25. This foolish plan of God is wiser than the wisest of human plans, and God's weakness is stronger than the greatest of human strength. Also, 1 Corinthians 2:14. But people who aren't spiritual can't receive these truths from God's Spirit. It all sounds foolish to them, and they can't understand it, for only those who are spiritual can understand what the Spirit means. And 1 Corinthians 4:5. So don't make judgments about anyone ahead of time before the Lord returns, for he will bring our darkest secrets to light and will reveal our private motives. Then God will give to each one whatever praise is due. Chapter 5 has some harsh words about not associating with people who claim they are Christian. 5:11 says, don't even eat with them. Now let's be clear, it's not talking about sinners. Then none of us would have friends because we're all sinners, right? It's talking about people that continuously choose to sin even when they know it is wrong without any kind of remorse or repentance. I'm sure all of us, I hope, know when we mess up and when we need to ask for forgiveness. That is way different than the kind of corruption being referenced here. Remember, Corinth was known in part for its immorality. Since it was also known as a big commercial center, I can't help but wonder if there are similarities to our nation and society today. Chapter 6 talks about avoiding lawsuits, yikes, and avoiding sexual sin, double yikes. I'll let you pick your own favorite verses here, and if you're ever bored by reading biblical language, you got to check out the Message translation sometime. Here's an example. 1 Corinthians 6:14-15. God honored the master's body by raising it from the grave. He'll treat yours with the same resurrection power. Until that time, remember that your bodies are created with the same dignity as the master's body. You wouldn't take the master's body off to a whorehouse, would you? I should hope not. Now, please know that the Message translation can be considered to be controversial because it is a summary and not verse-by-verse translation. But every now and then, especially if you're struggling to understand what you're reading, it's a great resource and made to be presented in today's wording and style. Never thought you'd see the word whorehouse in the Bible, did you? So there you go. Just trying to help you understand if you're struggling with some of those areas. The Message can be a good translation to check out. Tomorrow is 1 Corinthians 7-10. Happy reading! This podcast is made possible by Travel with Friends. Life is easier with friends. With a knowledgeable friend, well-equipped and available to help you through every step of your travel journey, working with Travel with Friends is just easy. Give them a call today at 501-379-9226. You can also email them, friends@travelwithfriends.com, or you can click the link in the podcast description below and fill out the Host a Tour form at the bottom of the page. Again, there's more information at a link in the podcast description.